Hi everybody, Jennifer Blevins-Smith with Integral Clinic Solutions, and you're watching my YouTube channel, Navigating the Business of Medicine. Today I want to talk about checking your contracts for any specific carve-outs or billing practices required by the payer. I say this because, and I've discussed it in my previous videos regarding payer contracts as well, but it's super important that you're reviewing line by line, paragraph by paragraph, all your contracts when they come over from payers when you initially receive them before you start seeing patients. And making sure that you understand what they're asking of you and what you're needing to do in order to see those insured patients with their insurance company before you start seeing them. I say this because I have experienced a few different situations with providers who have just signed contracts without reading and understanding that there could be different nuances and caveats in there, and they start billing or practicing the way that they want to or always have before they were in their own practice, and they start getting denials by insurances. And it's not until they call on those denials to find out that according to their contract, they're not billing the way they're supposed to. You need to make sure that you're billing the appropriate place of service. So most doctors' offices will bill place of service 11, but there are also other places of service that other doctors' offices might do. Place of service 20 is for urgent cares. Place of service 2, I believe, is a telemedicine visit place of service. There's different places of service for offering home care or seeing patients in assisted livings or skilled nursing facilities. And you bill according to your contract and how your taxonomy fits that. Oftentimes, place of service 20, which is urgent care, will have carve-outs or specifics, and I'm sure other ones will too, but this is the one that got brought to my attention most recently, so I'm bringing it up. And certain payers might have very specific requirements for billing to them using place of service 20. Sometimes they might have only one CPT code that you can bill. It's almost like, I don't want to say a global code, but essentially that's kind of what it is. So no matter what services you offer to patients at your urgent care, whether it's sutures and needing to give them a Tdap or a UA dip because you think they have a urinary tract infection and an office visit, it doesn't matter. You can't bill for all those individual services. You can't bill for the Tdap and the office visit or the urine dip and the office visit and the sutures because they only will pay you and cover one specific CPT code no matter what. And that's something that can be really shocking and very eye-opening if you're not expecting that, especially if you've based your budget on a certain amount of patients with that insurance or expecting a certain average amount of income per visit for patients no matter their insurance, and anticipating and building your budget and expenses off of that. So you would need to make sure that you're looking at those contracts before you sign them, because that's when you need to go back and negotiate and be like, no, I don't want to bill just one CPT code. I want to be able to bill for all my services I offer, or I need you to increase that amount if you want me to bill only one CPT code, because the average patient I see is going to need this many services, which averages out to be this much money out of my pocket. So in order to be able to make money on that service with that patient, I need X amount reimbursement for that CPT code. It's so important because if you sign it and you figure it out after the fact, it's so much harder to go back and try to negotiate this. You want to catch it up front. You also need to understand what the verbiage is. So if you're reading through a contract and you don't understand it or it's not making sense, reach out to your provider relations person. Ask them to give you the bullet points or important points from that. Ask the specific questions about CPT code reimbursement, amounts. If you don't see it especially, if they're being vague about something or you're looking for something specific and you don't really see them specifically saying something, ask them and do it through email so it's documented. Calling people on the phone, I totally believe is still good, and a lot of people underestimate the power of giving a phone call to people. But in this situation, if you talk to them on the phone, tell them you're going to send them a follow-up email for them to respond, because you want to make sure you have it in writing and it's not your word against theirs. You definitely want to make sure that if this is the case where you have carve-outs out of your contract where maybe they won't cover TDAPs because they expect that to be in a global sutures code, or they won't cover UA dips for UTIs because they expect that to be covered in your E&M office visit code. I mean, whatever it could be, there's so many bizarre things out there. You need to be aware of it, especially if you are offering a lot of those services to people. It's also important to understand how much it's going to cost you out of pocket to offer those services, so you have some negotiating power when it comes to going back to the insurance company and having a conversation about that. I just can't stress enough how important it is to read your contracts before you sign them and really understanding how the insurance company needs you to bill them, what they need for you to bill them, and anything that you cannot bill for. I mean, it sometimes isn't as obvious as you would hope it would be. It'd be really nice if they had it in bulleted format and they put it under a heading that says things we will not cover, or things that are considered global, or you can only bill this code. But unfortunately, a lot of them don't do it that way, and you have to go through all the jargon and you have to look through it. So what I do when I read contracts is I have a pad and paper. I go old school, and right next to me, and I write down the key points that I want to remember and the things I want to look at. So then when I'm done reading through every page, I go back and I review my notes, and I'm like, oh, that's concerning, I need to talk about that. Or, oh, this needs to be brought to the provider's attention when they read this. Or, oh, we need to ask the provider relations person about this because I don't really understand what they're saying. And just spending your time, almost like a research paper in a way. But this is vital because this is your backbone of your company, the financial health of your business. And you need to understand this. So if you have somebody billing for you, they can look for stuff and they understand. If you're reading reports and you need to follow up on things and check on things, you know what to be looking for certain payers. If you're going to have a billing company in charge of your billing services, that you're able to inform them and let them know about these different nuances so they set up the system appropriately and bill out appropriately as needed. If you have coders involved, which I highly, highly recommend having a coder in-house looking at everything, even if you hire a billing company, that they're aware of these nuances and that they're making sure that things are getting sent out correctly. Because all of those denied claims that come back is money out of your pocket because it's delayed payment, or maybe those one codes are a lot less than what you're billing out, itemized wise, and you're going to lose money that way too. So these are things that, even though it takes time, it's definitely worth having that time to take and look through all of that, understand what you're reading, be able to have a Cliff Notes version of the contract to provide to anybody that's involved in the process, and ensuring that everything is getting done appropriately the first time and you're sending out clean claims. If you have any experience with this type of situation, I would love for you to give some input in the comments below for your colleagues. Again, if you have questions or comments, I encourage you to leave that in the comments below as well. Smash the thumbs up button if today's video was helpful, and subscribe to my channel if you haven't already. Also, I haven't mentioned it in a while, so if you feel that my videos would be helpful for any of your colleagues or coworkers, please share this with them as well and ask them to subscribe as well. Take care of yourselves. We'll talk to you soon. Bye-bye.